Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Reid with Catalyst Training here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I wanted to take some time to go over a couple topics today, how we can focus on the details to help our teams play the best basketball coming into February and March so that we can make a postseason run. And one of the things when I talk about details, I talk about relationships with our players and how important that is. I hear a lot of coaches talk about a holiday lull, Christmas and New Year's coming back maybe a little slow. We ate a lot of food and kind of relaxed a little bit over the holidays, but there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of changes for these players. And, it's coming into school. You have the academic piece and you have relationship pieces and a lot of different dynamics that go on. And so one of the things that I like to encourage coaches on is understand what's going on for your players outside of the game of basketball. And now I know that that's going to be impossible for coaches to know everything that's going on for each one of their players, but for the most part, I think we need to make an attempt to be aware of what's going on. The cliche statement of players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care, I think that gets repeated over and over, and I love that it gets repeated because I think it's incredibly important. And there might be some issues going on with your team or players that you might not think are very important. Maybe it's a boyfriend or a girlfriend or something off the court, but you not thinking it is important is completely irrelevant to the player, because I think in a lot of ways it's one of the most important things in their life. So, maybe it's knowing a boyfriend or girlfriend's name or something like that, knowing what's going on off the floor. Maybe you got a kid whose brother or sister's doing really well or struggling in another sport, and being able to have some talking pieces there to bring up with the players, just showing that you care. I think understanding what's going on outside of basketball for especially teenage kids, I think is very important in terms of getting them to buy into what you're trying to do second half of the season. And also understanding that if they played a fall sport or they played AAU and jumped right into this, they've been going for a long time. And so mentally there's some fatigue that sets in. And so we need to make sure that we're detail oriented in understanding what's going to get them to connect with not only you as the coach, but with their teammates as a whole. Another thing is we talk about the mental fatigue part is, we're going to look to make adjustments as coaches, and we're going to start adding things as we feel more comfortable, obviously getting ready for a postseason run. And when it comes to that, I think players want detail. Obviously, in today's society, players, even adults, we're getting distracted very quickly. And so when it comes to detail and adding things, I know that a lot of us are old school where we just want to keep pounding out the same ideas and the same concepts until we get it down. But I'm not sure that kids would totally work that way. And so when we talk about details from a training aspect, for me, if I'm doing something and I sense that a kid I'm starting to lose them mentally, I'm going to switch it up and say, hey, we're going to do something completely different. We're going to do the second part of this series. And in reality, the second part of that series is this complete same set of footwork or movement that we were doing in the first part, but it appears different. So I've been able to get their attention back, kind of switching it up. And so I think that's a great tip going into this season where players, you maybe have some players that are starting to burn out, being able to make adjustments that way, get into the details so that they stay engaged. Because if we're not constantly giving them things, they're gonna be out to lunch. And so going into the new year, I hope these are a couple things that can help you benefit from a coaching standpoint and getting your team where you'd like them to be heading into the playoff run.